meeting, all that to order. We obviously have more than enough for a quorum. Thank you for your attendance. The minutes of the last meeting were sent out. A special thanks to Mickey for running that meeting in my absence. What's your pleasure with the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes as written.
And seconded by Tim Richardson.
I think there was one correction, I think, that needed to be made. It talked about the direct pay bill. It said 209B.
Okay.
For the direct payment, which it wouldn't have been 209B, because 209B is
GML.
So it said like direct pay law 209B or something. Is the way it was.
I'll get the right stuff from Todd and update it. So
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of accepting the minutes as amended?
Aye.
This is the part where you speak. And opposed? All right, the minutes are passed. Treasurer's report, I can share with you that quarter one payment has been received and that there have been no expenses since our last meeting. What is your pleasure?
Make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
All right. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? I will turn the floor over to Alicia for enforcement notifications.
I was like, what are you turning it to me? Okay, I got 5. Suspended for 1 year effective 11/8/23. Suspension is stayed pending no further violation for a period of 3 years. Assessed a civil penalty of $1,000 for violations of 10 NYCRR Part 800 3AL, 803 AM, 815 A1, 815 A2, 816 A2, and 816 A3. That is Christopher Langevin of New Milford, Connecticut, EMT number 153229. Revoked effective 10/20/23. Assessed a civil penalty of $500 for violations of 10 NYCRR Part 816 A7. That is Joseph George of Somerton, South Carolina, EMT number 503074. Suspended for 1 year effective 10/17/2023. The suspension is stayed. Placed on probation for 3 years effective 10/17/2023. Assessed a civil penalty of $1,000 for violation of 10 NYCRR Part 800.3 AM. Stephen J. Rivera of Carmel, New York, EMT number 427041. Suspended for 1 year effective 11/1/23. Suspension is stayed pending no further violations for a period of 3 years. Assessed a civil penalty of $1,000 for violating 10 NYCRR Part 800.3 AL, 800.3 AM, 815 A1, 815 A2, 816 A1, 816 A2, and 816 A3. That is Catherine Seipel of Yorktown Heights, New York, EMT number 447565. And one more. Revoked effective 10/16/23 for violating 8 NYCRR Part 816 A5. That is Tiggs Besh of Albany, New York. You know Tiggs?
Yeah.
Okay. EMT number 426343. That's it.
That's it. Thank you. Is there any old business that we need to consider? Any old business? New business, we have a few things to cover. Dan, let's start with appointments.
Okay, from the county recommendations, Chautauqua County has re-recommended Donna Bryant. Conroe, Cattaraugus County has recommended Chris Baker and Bobby Kuhn. And I've not heard from Allegheny County, which they had one person, which was Kay Bushman.
So we are going through the legislative body with the question, so it hasn't been resolved yet.
Okay, so we'll do the 4. I'll make a motion that we reappoint those 4 based on the recommendations from the counties.
Is there a second?
Second. I'll second.
You say that one, all right. Any discussion on those members? Very good. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? The same. Very good. They are reappointed.
Okay, the,
Thank you, Dan. More from you in a minute. But let's consider vital signs reimbursement requests.
We received 9, and they were all good. 1 from Chautauqua County, 4 from Cattaraugus, and 4 from Allegheny. So that totals $2,777,
And how much do we have set aside?
like 10,000. So, and each county council did review and approve. We're not allowed to get approval from the county council, but they reviewed and recommended. Yes,
Recommended.
yeah.
Passed along.
So they all followed the directions for submitting for reimbursement, so.
Unheard of.
Move we reimburse.
All right. Is there a second? Multiple seconds. Any discussion on those reimbursements? Very well. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
I'll get your names on that.
He's one of them, yeah.
All right, Dan, could you give us the report of the nominating committee?
as reported last meeting, the nominating committee canvassed the areas and have the following recommendations. This year, the chair and treasurer comes from Chautauqua County, and the committee is recommending Tim Carlson for chair, Dan Empfeld for treasurer, Cattaraugus County vice chair, and they've submitted Tim Richardson and then secretary from Allegheny County, and the nominating committee is recommending Bonnie Van Housen.
Very well, thank you. Thank the committee for your work. I always get a bit confused. I feel like that we should do nominations from the floor, or at least give people the opportunity. And then are we able to vote on them as one block?
We have in the past,
Okay.
but I would ask for nominations. Anybody have any nominations for any of those positions from the floor?
Chair usually asks 3 times.
Right. I thought that's what I remembered.
So that was number 1.
That's number 1. That's right. So are there any other nominations from the floor for any of the offices? Are there any other nominations from the floor for any of the offices for election?
Move nominations be closed. The secretary casts 1 ballot for all the nominees.
Your second.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Except
Opposed?
Tim Richards.
He got made chairman while he was in
Oh,
the
that's
bathroom.
That's what happens when you walk out of the.
Passes. Congratulations and thank you to the incoming group of officers.
And I guess I would like to make a motion thanking the outgoing officers for their service over the last couple of years.
Nobody wants to say that. Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You're glad I asked, Rocky. Very well. Is there any other new business? Any other new?
Well, I think there is, and I think we probably ought to talk about it. It's the Rural Healthcare Task Force. They had their initial kind of rollout of the work that they've completed so far, Monday night before the council. And I believe there are 2 more.
They already have.
They're already done. All right.
Last night was one, I know.
And their work so far really is kind of projecting the rural healthcare initiatives that were articulated in the EMS white paper that was rolled out last year. And they really identified the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and that is wages and reimbursement. That's a big problem. Enticing people to come to our industry, stay in our industry, and then once we have them in our industry, what are some ways that we can help them matriculate through an entity, kind of grow with the organization. But again, it really revolves around wages and benefits. And it's a very difficult animal for us to tackle because we worked in a capped environment. Medicaid's only gonna pay us so much. Medicare is only gonna pay us so much. Commercials are only gonna pay us so much. We are mandated to make multiple responses that yield us very little return, right? So that's the animal we need to attack. We need to find ways that we can bring more revenue into the system so we can pay our people what they're really worth. And it's unfortunate that not only free market forces are kind of driving this, because we have people in government putting their thumb on the scale and paying fast food workers $15 an hour to flip a burger, but they're not putting their thumb on the scale to pay an EMT what they're worth. So what we need to do, what we need to think about and start having the conversation is, what can we do to get more revenue, to get paid more for the job that we do, all right? And from the state level, we think Medicaid dollars first, right? That's where this upper payer limit and the directed payments that I've been kind of chirping about for the last 2 years. We need to get support behind that. We need as an industry to say, we're willing to pay a higher tax to compel New York State to raise their Medicaid share, because it will draw double that in federal dollars back to us. So we need to be open-minded. We need to think about this. And when you have an opportunity to talk to someone about upper payer limits and directed payments, don't shy away from that conversation. That's a real, tangible way to get more dollars into our system. All right. So the Rural Task Force is doing their thing. I think they're making some good progress, but.
We just got an email this afternoon, I haven't read it, and it's got 4 different areas, so I'll send that out after I review it.
I just sent it to them.
Oh,
So it's,
okay.
it's got a survey on it for
Survey.
stakeholders, for rural stakeholders and so forth, and then there's a few other links to help you key with some, resources and such. But I would encourage that it's
I'll
shared.
send Yeah,
I haven't read it yet.
yeah.
Very well. Yes, sir.
I was actually gonna bring this up under just awareness level, but kind of ties into what Todd was talking about. I'm not sure how many are aware of it, that Steuben County just started a stipend for their EMTs. They're paying them $1,400 once you complete the EMT class and sign up for a volunteer. The legislative board itself, and $400 for anybody who refreshes. It just went through legislative, and it could just start here in October, but, I'm friends with Tim over there, and so we got shared that amongst us fire coordinators. But, here's another challenging thing, that when neighbors do it, was the expectation of the next county.
Yeah, and I think there's quite a bit of red tape too about, I think if a community wants to have the tax benefit for volunteers to get that rebate, if they elect to do something different, they lose that program. So that strikes me as counterproductive.
In the state also, here's the flip side of that, and it's just getting published now, the state is paying for your BFO class, your fire officer 1 class, and interior class. If you take those, you can earn up to $2,000. Right to the student, directly to the student that took the class, so the state's putting money into it on that side from the governor's initiative. I haven't seen that in EMS yet.
That's retroactive back to August if it goes through. So I think it's a
Correct,
comment
August
period now,
31st.
right?
Anybody who took a class after August,
Yeah.
anybody completed the class after August 31st is eligible.
Yeah.
New,
Yeah.
not someone who retake.
Correct. That's been asked many times.
Thank you for those updates. Any other new business? Hearing none. We will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All right, and I will,
At least it's not snowing.
that's-
Usually this meeting. I always
We
worry
had that
about getting
discussion on the way over, yes.
I always worry about getting you guys out of here, because it always seems to start snowing.
Well, your prayers were answered today, thank you.
let me just encourage you as I leave this position to continue to do the right thing. Please continue to be kind to one another and to those that you come in contact with, and continue to be safe as you do your job. The meeting is adjourned.
Amen.
Thank you.